Okay, let's get into it. We're going to unpack the very foundation of, well, almost all modern American music.
We're talking about the blues.
Exactly. It's like the bedrock, the source code for rock, R&B, and especially for jazz.
And it all started in the deep south of the United States, right around the end of the 19th century.
What's so amazing is that it wasn't just one thing. It was a
A
mix.
total mix. It's a perfect example of cultures combining. You had African Americans blending their own musical traditions from Africa with, the European folk songs and harmonies they were hearing around them.
And this music had a real job to do, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't just for entertainment.
Oh, not at all. It was for survival. I mean, these songs were how people expressed the intense hardship, the pain, just the struggle of everyday life, especially working in the fields.
So the sound itself was pretty direct,
Super direct and raw. The early musicians were using instruments that were easy to get.
like guitars and harmonicas.
Guitars, harmonicas, sometimes a banjo, things that were portable and cheap. And the sound wasn't about being technically perfect. It was all about emotional expression and a very specific rhythmic feel.
And that focus on feeling is what really set the stage for everything that came later in the 20th century.
It was a revolution, really.
Okay, so if the blues is the blueprint, it needs a solid structure.
Yeah,
And it gave us one of the most famous patterns in all of music,
the 12-bar blues.
the 12-bar blues. So for you listening, this is the genre's unique architecture. It's a pattern of exactly 12 measures or bars that just repeats over and over.
And the genius of it is its simplicity. It's built on a specific sequence of just 3 chords. In music talk, we call them the I, the IV, and the V chords.
You don't even need to know music theory to feel it, though.
No, not at all. Your ear just knows where it's going. It's predictable in the best way possible.
And the lyrics fit this pattern perfectly. It's what's called an AAB pattern.
Right. So you sing the first line, that's A. You state your problem, your thought,
Then you sing it again, the same exact line.
the second A, to really drive it home. Or maybe to give yourself a second to think of the next line.
And then comes the B line, the conclusion or the punchline.
Exactly. And that whole package, the 12 bars, the 3 chords, the AAB lyrics, it created the perfect environment for something amazing.
Spontaneity.
Total spontaneity. Because everyone knew the roadmap, musicians could just show up and play together instantly. No sheet music, no rehearsal.
And that idea carried directly into jazz. It became the most common way for musicians to improvise solos while the rest of the band held down that solid, predictable foundation.
It's like a safe playground for musical explorers.
Okay, so the structure lets them talk to each other. But what about the emotional language? Let's talk about this secret ingredient.
Blue notes.
We hear that term all the time. But what is a blue note?
It's basically a note that's played or sung just a little bit lower in pitch than you'd expect in a standard scale. It's slightly flattened.
So yeah, it's like an in-between note. It's intentionally a little off.
Precisely. It creates this tension, this mournful or soulful sound that you just can't get from traditional European scales. It's
Wow.
what gives the blues its bluesy feel.
So it's how they could really express those deeper emotions.
Absolutely. When you hear a jazz trumpeter or a sax player bend a note, making it sound almost like a human voice crying or laughing,
Yeah.
they're using blue notes. They're adding soul.
So that's the language.
Hmm?
What about the conversation itself? This brings us to call and response.
Which comes straight from African vocal traditions. You'd hear it in work songs, in spirituals.
How does it work?
It's simple. One person sings or plays a phrase. That's the call.
And then someone else or the whole group answers back.
That's the response. It's a musical conversation.
And in jazz, this happens between the instruments, right?
All the time. The singer might tell a bit of the story, and the guitar answers with a little melody. Or the saxophone plays a line, and the drums answer with a little rhythmic fill.
It makes the music feel so alive, like it's happening right there in the moment.
It is happening in the moment. That's the whole point.
So the blues is born in the rural South. How does it become jazz? It needed a city.
It needed New Orleans. People call it the birthplace of jazz for a reason. It was this incredible melting pot of cultures.
You had everything there.
Everything. European opera, Caribbean rhythms, African traditions, marching bands. And in the early 1900s, musicians started mixing the raw emotion of the blues with the loud, brassy energy of those marching bands and the syncopated rhythms of ragtime.
That ragtime rhythm is key. That sort of off-the-beat piano style really got people moving.
It did, and the instruments changed too. Blues was often just one person with a guitar or piano.
But jazz bands got bigger.
Much bigger. They kept the piano and guitar, but they added the horns from the marching bands, the trumpet, the trombone, the clarinet.
And the way they played them was different.
Right.
Oh, completely. Think about a blues guitarist bending a string. You know that wailing sound?
Yeah.
Horn players heard that, and they figured out how to do the same thing with their breath and their instruments. They made the horns speak and sing, just like a blues vocalist.
And what about the piano? You mentioned ragtime, but there was another style too.
Boogie woogie. It came directly out of the blues. It's defined by this really strong, repeating rhythmic pattern in the pianist's left hand.
A walking bass line.
A powerful driving bass line. And that became the engine for the whole rhythm section in early jazz. The bass player and the drummer basically copied that driving feel. It made you want to dance.
So that strong rhythm and the 12-bar framework lead us right to the absolute core of jazz.
Improvisation.
Making music up on the spot.
Right, and the blues was the perfect training for that. It taught musicians how to create melodies just by listening to those simple chord changes, not by reading pages of written music.
So it gave them freedom.
A huge amount of freedom. The soloists could step out and tell their own story with their instrument, using the blues scale as their vocabulary.
While the band kept that 12-bar safety net going underneath.
Exactly.
And there's one last piece to the rhythmic puzzle here. It's a feeling more than a rule.
Swing.
Swing. It's that relaxed, bouncy, slightly offbeat rhythm. It's not stiff.
It's a very sophisticated feel. It's what makes you tap your foot. When a whole band is playing with that same relaxed, rhythmic feel, musicians say they're in the pocket.
And that feeling, that pulse comes from the blues, too.
It traces right back to the rhythms you'd hear in the old spirituals and work songs. It's the heartbeat.
So this connection between blues and jazz, its legacy is just huge.
Monumental. And you had these brilliant composers who took this simple folk music and turned it into high art.
Like W.C. Handy.
The father of the blues. He was one of the first to actually write it down and publish it, which helped it spread everywhere.
And then came the big band leaders. Duke Ellington, Count Basie.
They took that same simple 12-bar blues and wrote these incredibly rich, complex arrangements for huge orchestras. Ellington could make a 3-chord blues sound like a symphony.
And as the musicians moved,
From the South to big cities like Chicago and New York.
they took the music with them. And then you add radio and records into the mix.
And suddenly the blues becomes a universal language. It started influencing music all over the world.
And it still does. I mean, you can't talk about rock and roll without the blues.
Or soul music or R&B. It's all connected. The 12-bar form is still used to write hit songs today. And modern producers,
Hip-hop artists.
they're constantly sampling old blues and jazz records. Those original sounds, those templates, are timeless.
So at the end of the day, the blues gave us the blueprint, the 12-bar structure, the emotional language of the blue notes, and that rhythmic heartbeat that became swing.
It really is like finding the original source code for modern American sound.
Understanding it helps you understand everything that came after.
Good luck with your studies.